weeks ago, June 23rd, when there was an explosion here. 44 units at the Rainbow Terrace apartments were damaged.
So I was able to put things together, structure things the best we could in the small amount of time we had to make sure everybody's accommodated.
It's amazing to watch how these kids are attracted to somebody of great character, and to see him come and just get involved, it means a lot.
Sometimes being a leader requires more than just skill. While others suffer, it sometimes takes a heart that won't stop. One young guy did more than simply deliver assistance to a community devastated by tragedy and a city reeling from loss. He arrived by himself. And he contributed something to the process. I hope this isn't a typical football player's story. Shedeur Sanders, a rookie quarterback, may have come to Cleveland to throw passes, but he soon found himself tossing lifelines. There was a thundering explosion to start. The Rainbow Terrace apartments in Cleveland's Garden Valley area were destroyed by an explosion. More than 40 households were uprooted in a matter of seconds. The sky was full of smoke. Sirens cried out. People's lives were permanently altered. Among the wounded and grieving, a local guy lost his life while attempting to assist his neighbors. A hero of the community was lost in the fire. The city was in mourning. Families frantically sought refuge. Children were left feeling scared and perplexed. Residents looked for solace, explanations, and anyone, who would turn to face them and say, "I see you." Additionally, Shedeur Sanders was hundreds of miles away when the dust was still settling. Cleveland, however, was always close to his heart.
Here, and I was out of town when it happened, so I was able to put things together, structure things the best we could in the small amount of time we had to make sure everybody's accommodated.
He remarked with a genuineness that was evident through the screen, "Coming to the community is definitely the first thing I do when I get back." And he did precisely that. Many sportsmen say the correct things, but they disappear as the cameras stop recording. Not Shedeur. He didn't go to the training center or release a well-thought-out statement as soon as his feet touched Cleveland soil. Without a script, no entourage, and no press, he made his way directly to Garden Valley. He arrived with a single goal in mind. And it was intimate. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It wasn't a community project of the NFL. A young guy in dire need of illumination made the decision to remain in a city that had welcomed him. Thus, Cleveland saw something it hadn't seen in a long time a few days following his return. Joy. Shedeur organized the Garden Valley FunFest, a full-scale community celebration planned by one individual and his money rather than by the city or a non-profit, in an area that was still in shock. Games, dancing, music, bouncy houses, food cards, and laughing started to take the place of quiet. Faces that had lost the ability to stretch smiled again. And for one wonderful day, unity triumphed over sorrow. Just people, love, and community, no sponsors, logos, or interviews. And it all came directly from Shedeur's own pocket and heart. He didn't show himself. He arrived to observe. He sat with folks who had been displaced. He knelt down to talk to kids who hadn't grinned since the blast. All he said was, "I'm here for you." He demonstrated it. "I just wanted a day for everybody to get out here, have some enjoyment and excitement, and bring the family atmosphere back," he stated. Not from a platform, but in the middle of giggling children. And it is the appearance of leadership. 1. Instagram message was the pivotal moment. Shedeur was contacted by a local follower who informed him about the incident and asked if he could assist. The majority of famous people would have sent a representative with the message. I might have donated. Perhaps not. Shedeur, however, made no hesitation. I was aware that I had to travel alone. For the masses, it would have greater meaning. So, he flew back, packed up, and stood exactly where the catastrophe had occurred. Just presence, genuine, unvarnished, and uncommon, no speechwriters, no film crew. Hope is the most difficult thing to rebuild in communities that have been ripped apart by tragedy. But there was no such thing as hope on that steamy Cleveland afternoon. It was an individual. A youngster who could have been 7 years old rushed up to Shedeur and gave him a strong embrace. "You came," the youngster said in a whisper. "You arrived. That is not something you can purchase. It is impossible to fake. That type of affection is earned with honesty rather than touchdowns." Locals got together and told their tales. Some people danced, some sobbed, and some simply stood there in silence, relishing the infrequent sensation of being seen. A woman wiped away her tears and remarked, "This is the nicest thing that's happened to us since the explosion. He is here even if he didn't have to be." Shedeur wasn't by himself. He had backup. Support, not security. Mike Hall, a defensive lineman for the Cleveland Browns and a boxer who was born in Cleveland beside him, Montana Love was prepared to improve the community. Montana Love said it in the best possible words. Not only is he a football player, he is an important resource for our city. He pays attention. He arrives and gets things done. Furthermore, this was not charity. It was family. Shedeur does more than just show up, Montana continued. He offers happiness, optimism, and, above all, actual transformation. There is no pretense when Shedeur discusses Cleveland. He doesn't talk like a man who is locked in a marketplace. He talks like a guy who has found his place. This place has such a grounded sense. The people are real, he revealed. There is a lot of optimism. Why more people wouldn't want to visit and take this in is beyond me. He benefits from the city's vitality as well as that of its residents and young people, and the relationship is reciprocal. Shedeur is not only attempting to play quarterback for Cleveland. He is turning into its beating heart. Shedeur keeps proving one thing despite all the viral events, jersey sales, and pre-draft buzz. Football is only the first step. An open call was placed by him on Instagram. "While you're there, come down and provide a hand to these folks and take in the atmosphere." It was more than just a request for volunteers. A call to mankind was made. He was in the center of the Garden Valley. There are no cameras present, no bodyguards or barricades, simply genuineness when welcoming children, shaking hands with grandmothers, and joking with families. And at those times, you come to the realization that heroes aren't defined by stadium lights. That's what they do behind the scenes. Any child who witnessed him that day would tell you, "That's my quarterback." He engages in play with them. He pays attention. He gives them a sense of importance. Additionally, Shedeur uplifts young people in a society where adults much too frequently speak down to them. One youngster said, "Shedeur is my QB1," as he joyfully ran across the field. Those are more than simply adorable fan moments. Those are memories that shape your life. He is a role model because he is compelled to be such, not because he strives to be. You would assume that with all of this affection. Shedeur isn't wired that way, even though he might relax, take it easy, and ride the wave. He stated, "I'm not in a rush to settle into comfort. I am aware that achievement takes time, but with perseverance and determination, everything will work itself out." That is the difference between great guys and excellent players. He is not here to enjoy his notoriety. His purpose is to leave a legacy. Furthermore, that legacy goes beyond statistics and awards. It's names, families, faces, and tales. Shedeur Sanders stands out in a league full of celebrities. He is redefining what it means to be a leader in the NFL today. Genuine, unfiltered, and unrehearsed. Success is a collective endeavor rather than only a personal one, and his deeds speak louder than words. It goes beyond simply how far I can travel. How many individuals I can lift along the route is the main concern. And he lifts. One narrative stood out in a world full of commotion, controversy, and short-lived headlines. Because of soul, not because of controversy. The person was not a politician. The person wasn't a billionaire. A 22-year-old rookie quarterback made the decision that being a person was more important than being well-known. It was football that brought him to Cleveland. He's staying for something more profound now, though. People will recall Shedeur Sanders' touchdowns, comeback drives, and perhaps even a ring or two as they reflect on his career. However, they will recall something different in Garden Valley. They will remember a young guy who arrived with caring rather than cameras, who didn't turn away, who entered their worst hour and stoked a glimmer of hope. When it counts, are we present? Are we lifting people up with our platforms, no matter how big or small? When there has been suffering, are we prepared to deliver happiness? Because Shedeur is playing for a greater reason than just football. And Cleveland as a whole benefits from it. Make this the norm. Let this be the tale of a servant, a leader, or a neighbor rather than a celebrity.